Welcome to the final day of our Please Ask campaign. Y'all should know this by now, but just in case, I am Aniqua, the founder and executive director of Journey to Self, J2S. I have received so many messages and positive feedback regarding the campaign, and I want to thank everyone who has viewed the sessions and people who are planning to view the sessions. Please remember that J2S is a resource, and you can reach out with any questions or concerns that you may have. If we do not have an answer for you or a referral for you, then we'll definitely work with you to find an answer. Day 5 is all about taking action. We have learned so many facts and statistics during this week. What we have also heard is the stories and journeys of several speakers regarding how they're healing from childhood sexual abuse, what they're doing now to just form this amazing life post-trauma. And now it's time that we make a plan to actually use all of this information and all of these tools we have gained. I would like to first start by spending some time addressing different systems that can be improved in order to help J2S and other advocates really put an end to childhood sexual abuse. So, our school system. I know this is a touchy subject, but our school system is one of the largest systems that has direct access to our youth. It is also a system where many predators, offenders, abusers, whatever title we want to pick, they tend to work in these environments. I cannot tell you all how many times I have heard from families that a teacher, a coach, an administrator made them feel uncomfortable or made their child feel uncomfortable in a sexual manner. So J2S wants to see school systems take background checks a step further. Oftentimes, y'all, offenders are not jailed for their abuse. Thus, we are just left, with only the words and the experiences of the victim or survivor. To give a clearer example of where I'm coming from, okay, so there were several teachers, right? And there are actually several teachers employed in public schools right here in the state of Georgia, and they have records from being fired from like previous schools or previous educational institutions due to sexual misconduct involving children. However, they are still able to seek new employment in school systems around children because they were not convicted of those previous incidents. I encourage all parents and guardians to start looking up the individuals that spend several hours with your child. When you go to those open houses, okay, and you get that rubric and it has the teacher's name on there, do a quick Google search. You will be surprised what Google will bring up. There are instances where you may see other parents talking about different situations involving your child's new teacher. You may even find articles where they were arrested, but not convicted, or they were fired because of all the allegations, but for whatever reason, a DA didn't feel like it could stand in court. Okay, because the offender did not go to jail does not mean what took place did not happen. Okay, so should you find any baffling information, do not hesitate to reach out to the school leaders and demand an explanation as to why someone with a history of being inappropriate with a minor can continuously be employed in environments with children. This act alone has brought light to so many situations and has really made a change in the employment status of this predator. So I truly just advise you all to do that. Now, I am not saying that all individuals working in our school systems pose a threat to our youth. I have two daughters that I love more than life, right? And their dad is an educator. He's also a basketball coach. So I have a lot of love and compassion and respect for those individuals that dedicate their life to positively pouring knowledge and encouragement into our children. But what I am saying is that there are, unfortunately, individuals that wiggle through the current screening process who simply should not be in our schools. Let's call for a review of the hiring and screening process that public schools currently have in place. Let's start by doing the research, Googling, and looking up our instructors ourselves, taking that accountability and understanding who is actually educating our children. And now that I think of it, this leads me to the current law and criminal system. As I mentioned previously, offenders are not always convicted of their crimes. Several years ago, I accompanied a minor to a police station after finding out that the child had experienced sexual abuse. The first officer that approached us, y'all, was so cold and so condescending. Not sure if it was a race thing, possibly. I'm pretty sure it was multiple barriers and multiple biases that caused his reaction. And even, making the process a little bit more friendly. And what I mean by that is, as soon as we went into the police station, we literally were out in the open, trying to explain why we were there. Explaining something so private and so traumatic out in the opening that definitely was not comforting. And then after finally being taken to a private room to fully talk, the number one concern from the officers were proof, like, did anybody see it? Uh, when we get this medical exam done, maybe there's some physical proof. They were just very adamant about the need of proof. If you do not know, when reporting a sexual assault, having some type of physical proof or witness truly does go a long way. However, as you heard during the campaign, many predators tend to groom a child, before assaulting them. Thus, victims do not readily speak up. So, physical evidence is not always present by the time we do, bring this truth out. There are so many instances where evidence is just not possible. While I am aware that we are innocent until proven guilty, I personally, and these are my personal thoughts, okay? I personally believe some crimes should be treated differently. But when it comes to crimes like sexual abuse, it gets a little tricky because this type of crime happens in so many industries, so many types of people can be a predator. We hear about judges, policemen, teachers, coaches, doctors, trainers, parents, siblings, etc., being accused of sexual abuse. And I honestly think this is the reason why very little is done to end the cycles and actually protect our children. But y'all, it's truly time that we start having these real conversations regarding this type of abuse, this type of trauma. I keep emphasizing the fact that I am a mom of two, right? Two daughters at that. And I also have a background, an educational background in healthcare management. So when it comes to finding a pediatrician for my children, y'all, I was very picky. One thing that I love about our current pediatrician is the fact that she always discusses private body parts and private areas with my children. And she emphasizes how no one, should touch these areas. And I think it would be amazing if all pediatricians and healthcare providers were required to some extent to have these conversations with their patients, with these babies, and also be trained to catch the subtle reactions that warrant a deeper investigation or a referral to Child Protective Services. I was told that there is some type of standard in place regarding this, but personally, I have gone to doctors with my kids, and they were not asked these questions. So I'm interested. Comment under this video and let me know, as a parent or a guardian, when you take your child to the pediatrician, is the pediatrician talking to your child about sexual abuse and the importance of, just knowing their body, owning their bodies, and speaking up whenever there is any type of invasion of those private areas and personal spaces? I'm truly interested in knowing that. So I hope y'all comment and let me know. I've spoken to several survivors, actually, who have survived childhood sexual abuse, and very rarely did a healthcare provider ask these type of questions. And who knows, had they asked, maybe the length of time that this survivor silently, went through the trauma of their abuse could have been limited, or the abuse could have been stopped sooner. It's so hard to not think about how many lives we can protect if we improve our systems, especially our school systems, our criminal systems, and our medical system. This is why Journey to Self was created. The Please Ask campaign is needed. The sexual abuse of children is a systematic issue, y'all. And we have to come together to find solutions and resources, and not talk about it, but be about it. As you saw, so many of our speakers are actively doing something to aid in the healing and the awareness of childhood sexual abuse. There are so many videos and resources to help with conversations regarding how to talk to your kids. So my top call of action for today is to please ask your child or any child in your life about sexual abuse. Again, one of our speakers mentioned the benefit associated with showing age-appropriate videos when speaking to children. So pull those resources. Do not let your discomfort or fears allow another child to continue to suffer in silence. It's all of our responsibility. If you have any ways that you are currently helping in this fight, or ways that you think may help, please feel free to contact J2S. Go to our website, journeytoself.net. I have it in the background of my video here. And, share those thoughts with us. Thank y'all so much for spending a week learning about childhood sexual abuse and committing to asking. It's needed. I can't wait to just see the reach that J2S had with their first year, running the Please Ask campaign. So peace, love, and light to all of you. And thank you again. It's a wrap for day 5, y'all. Peace.